At 1:19 p.m. on March 8, 2014, on the way to the Chinese capital Beijing, Malaysia's MH370 flight suddenly disappeared on radar screen, starting from one of the biggest aviation secrets in the history of aviation. The fact that a giant plane carrying 239 dead bodies disappeared in a time when radar, with the hope of observing around the Earth, is considered a story that is very romantic today. After a full year of searching, the final results have been created. A lot of shocking evidence has been released. The death of the airspace between Vietnam and Malaysia, the technology of avoiding the common radar, the control of the crew and passengers. The last desperate call of the crew, whether it is the end of the bad flight and who is the culprit behind the tragedy, will all be answered in this analysis. On March 7, 2014, the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia. On that fateful night, the MH370 flight, Malaysia Airlines International Passenger Flight, was performing the final tests, preparing for a 5-hour, 34-minute journey to the Beijing, China's capital international airport. The aircraft is a Boeing 777-200R, the largest double-deck aircraft in the world. The aircraft model has the #1 safety license among all aircraft lines ever built. With two Rolls-Royce Chen 875 giant engines using advanced composite superlight materials, the 777-20R has a terrifying flight pattern, wide range of flight, and excellent fuel-saving ability. In addition to the radio communication system, it also has a transponder radar and a communication system with the SATCOM satellite. Today, all 227 passengers and 12 members of the crew, passengers from 14 different countries, including 153 Chinese citizens, are returning to their hometown. 2 Iranian passengers, which were later discovered, pretended to fly the plane. The captain of the plane is Johari Amartya, 53 years old, one of the best and most experienced pilots in Malaysia. He is also holding an important position in the national aviation. The crew described the captain as a master of technology with all 18,365 hours of flight, including 16 years of experience driving the 777. The life of the Captain Johari mostly revolves around food, family, and planes. When not working, he stayed at home cooking and used the aircraft driver system to gain more experience. He also owns a YouTube channel dedicated to DIY projects where he teaches how to fix home appliances. Looking at it, I think the captain is a person with a pretty happy marriage life, with his wife and 3 children. But in fact, according to some speculations, just a few days before the flight, his wife asked for a divorce from him when she found her husband out of love. The airport is Farib Abdul Hamid, 27 years old, a graduate of Langkawi Air Force Academy, trained to become a pilot. MH370 is his last flight training for the 777. Before that, he had completed all 2,763 hours of flight. 30 minutes local time, a total of 49,100 kilograms of fuel was pumped into the aircraft, allowing it to fly continuously within 7 hours, 31 minutes. More than 2 hours then planned approximately 5 tons of fuel and 221 kilograms of lithium battery was pumped into the aircraft. Although this involved a lot of risks of explosion, but according to reports, they were packed very carefully. In addition, this is not the first time that such goods are sent to commercial flights. According to the plan, the aircraft will fly northward through the Malaysian peninsula, then through the Southeast Sea before reaching Beijing. 0 hours 42 minutes, MH370 is ready to take off from runway 32 on the MH370 is ready to take off from runway 32R. The aircraft flew into the night, and this is the last time they saw MH370 before it completely disappeared. 0 hours, 42 minutes, 5 seconds. The runway allows MH370 to climb to a height of 18,000 feet and go straight to a spot called Igari. From here, it was transferred to the Kuala Lumpur Air Control Station on the 2.6 megahertz level to the Igari money, because it is the focus of our story today. This is one of the few points of reference on the journey, included by a total of 5 different areas, including Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Singapore. 0 hours, 46 minutes. the aircraft is connected to the Kuala Lumpur and is allowed to reach a height of 25,000 feet. 5 seconds, MH370 continues to climb to a height of 35,000 feet, 1 hour, 7 minutes. The captain announces that the aircraft is at a height of 35,000 feet, which is completely normal. However, only 7 minutes later, the captain repeated this signal once again. In theory, this additional call is not necessary. Usually the pilots will only call additional calls for 2 reasons. One is to accidentally call and call again to ensure safety, or there is something wrong with the plane's radio, and the pilot is afraid that he will miss the signal. Both calls are completely different. While in the first time, the captain spoke with a comfortable voice. So he was very focused on something. Outside the cabin, the calmness was overwhelming. The passengers were taking a break, 1 hour, 19 minutes, 24 seconds. MH370 receives a signal to the ATC of Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The request to avoid this will continue to be a surprising point. According to the rules, when receiving a signal from the airbase, the pilots will repeat that signal to check. However, in this case, it can be seen that the pilot has left it, he does not have enough time, or something is happening in the cockpit. 1 hour, 22 minutes, the plane approached and passed through the Agari. At the last 37 seconds, the plane suddenly left a 180-degree angle. It seems that someone is deliberately interfering in the flight's orbit. Usually, the plane's automatic driving mode only allows a specific angle. The plane turned an angle of 180 degrees to show that the automatic driving mode was turned off. The time of the plane's disappearance is not accidental. It happened at the right time between the Kuala Lumpur airspace and Ho Chi Minh City. And that's it. It's a too-perfect plan. While holding the control of the plane, knowing that this is the time both sides are facing the ground, Vietnam and Malaysia let go of their attention, or consider it a dead end. While Malaysia believes that it has completed the mission, the Vietnamese side simply handles some other flights and asks for a contact signal from MH370. It took 17 minutes after MH370 disappeared. The Vietnamese side recognized and contacted the Malaysian side. The captain of another plane tried to contact the MH370 team, using the number of international aviation rescues to meet the requirements of controlling the Vietnamese airspace. But what this person received was just a few weak and quiet sounds, and the silence was terrifying. Where did MH370 go? The aircraft's engine has been turned off, but Malaysia's military radar, which does not depend on the usual radio, was able to catch the MH370 signal in more than an hour later. According to the information provided just after the fire, the plane continued to move to the southwest via the Malaysian peninsula. This at the same time helped it move between Thailand's Aegis and the M765 aircraft, avoiding the opposite direction of traffic. It should be noted that the ADIZ here is the air defense area controlled by the Thai military. There it can be concluded that the person controlling the plane is extremely aggressive. He is trying to take the plane out of the observation of any ATC. This is more and more proven when it goes through the Penang Island of Malaysia. According to the information revealed on April 12, 2014, by the investigators hiding the name on the news channel, Jet Time, the Fareed Abdul Hamid Airport, has tried to demonstrate the amazing rescue operations on the ground. MH370 has flown at a high enough altitude to the mobile tower in Bandar Baru, Falim Penang, which can catch a phone call from the pilot. However, these signals are extremely weak and quickly disappear afterwards. Clearly on the plane, passengers and crew are asked to turn off their phones during their journey. Therefore, when anyone tries to make a call, surely something bad is happening. And if you still doubt it, please pay attention to another type of signal that is really more reliable than the call from the pilot, which is SACOM. Just like many other planes, Boeing 777 is equipped with a satellite connection device called SACOM, receiving and sending signals from the ground, bringing out detailed notes and all data about the flight. This SACOM system is connected to Inmarsat, a British telecommunications company, specializing in providing global travel services to 3 satellites. Boeing 777-200R will connect to SACOM in the ground via SDU equipped on the plane. But at 2:30 p.m., When Malaysia tried to contact the plane via satellite message, it did not respond. Australian investigators say the plane may have lost power. If a pilot wants to do something suspicious, they have a button on the steering wheel. They will find a way to turn off the power by pressing the button, burst time, and turning off the equity control on the steering wheel. In this way, the plane will lose almost all of the power of the system, including the transmission system. In this case, the engines can still work normally because they are provided with a single power source. There is a small note that when the power is lost, the plane will try to restart the APU power supply. Therefore, the controller will now turn on the APU switch, then turn it off to prevent the startup from taking place. It can be seen that the name of the controller is extremely intelligent and experienced for the systems on the plane. Turning off the APU is not too scary for him because the plane no longer has any power source. A turbine in the center of the plane creates energy by rotating in the wind. It will create a small amount of power used to provide the equipment of the plane with some other important